Thank you, Thomas, for the $1.99 super chat. Off to work. See you later. Down with Karoga. Well, I will. Yes, we will see you later. Thank you, though, for jumping in with that super chat. So these are all random pictures for my various trips to Arizona over the years. Oh, there's a young bird of prey 5. That was the year 2000. I still had hair. These are Sedona pictures, mostly. Yeah, well, that's Sedona. But there's from all around Arizona. They're all mixed in at random. Thank you, Nat Ryan Johnson. I will, and there's the Jeep. I'll get to that as soon as I actually start the stream. This is the Grand Canyon, and this is Phoenix. And back to Sedona. Okay. Qapla, everyone, and thank you, Nat Ryan Johnson, for that $2 super chat. Says down with Thomas bot, Karoga forever. Absolutely. A minute or two or before, Thomas Potts started with a $1.99 super chat. That said off to work. See you later. Down with Karoga, which of course is all nonsense. Although Karoga has never been stronger. Anti-Trigger was claiming first. He was here about 5 minutes early and said he was first and I was late. Yeah, I called him late earlier on his late stream. Today I told everybody I was going to be late. Thomas Potts was actually first and says hi. Alex Brooks says hey, and Alex Brooks says third. Technically second, Alex Brooks. John DeMarco says greetings. Greetings, John DeMarco. I remind everybody to switch to live chat. John Street says down with the old man of Karoga. Oh, Anti-Tracker used some phone app to make me look like an old man and to make me look like a woman. And now he probably gave some Chinese hacker, the government, the access to my photo. Thank you, Anti-Tracker. Alex Brooks says, hi, John. Thomas says, my iPod autofills in. Down with Karoga now. Mike Richards says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. And he also says, King Alpaca also. The alpaca stuff is getting out of control, people. We gotta cut it down. You see, I got the sticker. I got the alpaca sticker. Let's end it there. I'm getting videos of alpacas. I'm getting change.org petitions to change my name to Alpaca Opre 5. That I'm being told alpacas have magic powers that can make me walk again. Okay, Sister Opre didn't even know what animal she was talking about when she said alpaca. Don't worry about it. We can forget about the alpacas. I will show you proof later. Not Ryan Johnson says hello and Qapla. Hello and Qapla, not Ryan Johnson. Alexander's in the house. Hello, comrade. Says hi, everybody. Welcome, Alexander. Our favorite communist. Alexander says F, Captain, Nazi. Off to a strong start, Alexander. Yes, communists and Nazis, natural enemies. Commander Shutter says, hey all, down with Kurdistan. Indeed, Commander. I don't know if you've been back in the game yet, Commander, but Karoga is waiting for you, as is your ship. Your ship is on the ice lake that Karoga, new Karoga, is being built upon. John Street says, was there ever a young bird of prey? Mamo Prey says that bird was built at Mom's Friendly Robot Company. I don't think she says that. Mamo Prey remembers little baby Birdo Prey. John DeMarco says, take it easy, Alexander. Alexander says to John DeMarco, why? We, Anti-Trigger, explained it to you, John. Not John, Alexander. While I'm not as hard-pressed as Anti-Tracker at keeping those words out of my chat, because, to be honest, I mean, I don't want to lose my channel either, but if I did, my channel isn't paying my mortgage, so I understand Anti-Tracker certainly, leaving less room to risk it. I totally get that, but at the end of the day, neither of us want to lose our channel or get it, probably wouldn't lose it right away, but it would get like flagged as like a troublemaker's channel if there's a lot of talk about the Nazis and stuff. So I try to avoid it when possible, but I don't go to the ends that Anti-Tracker goes to avoid it. And I disagree. I mean, I would be talking about it all the time. Okay, I don't think we should have to avoid it. I think that's a cultural mistake that YouTube is making. I think YouTube's on the wrong side of history with this, but it is YouTube's ultimate decision, and it's their yard that we're playing in. So we've got to try to be mindful of their rules, even if we think they are stupid, which I do. John DeMarco says calling each other names, especially that one, is not exactly productive. Well, that is true also. Tiki of Doom says Qapla, Tiki of Doom. Alexander says that's why he blocked him. Commander Shutter says I will be on Saturday night. Let the war continue. Absolutely, Commander. Mark Andy says there is no such thing as alpacas. So says our great leader. Obey, repeat after me. Llama, 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 llama. No. Okay, llamas are not. Let's go to the videotape. And by videotape, I mean, of course, web page. Oh, jeez. So, yeah, I see these are the videos I'm getting sent to me. Alpacas, breathing fire from their nostrils, their mouth, and somehow it's their eyeballs. I don't know what's going on. This has got to stop. Where are we? Sister O'Prey sent this Reddit link. Apparently the alpaca versus the llama, because apparently lots of people do confuse them, so shouldn't feel too bad. But here we go. An alpaca weighs about 150 pounds, whereas a llama weighs 400 pounds. I'll be honest, I don't think that weighed 400 pounds, but size in pictures can be deceiving. An alpaca has a soft fleece. I've been told by people that alpaca is like the softest animal you could ever possibly feel. Whereas an alpaca feels like it has a knife in its fur. And then it says alpacas listen to human commands, whereas a llama listens to Norwegian death metal. An alpaca eats grass, whereas a llama eats old corn dogs, which is interesting because I had corn dogs tonight, though they weren't old. And an alpaca is even-tempered, whereas a llama is constantly drunk. And an alpaca travels in herds, whereas a llama will kill you with the first chance it gets. So, yeah. I guess if we had to choose between alpaca and llama, we chose right with the alpaca. However, I think Sassy is getting jealous. So this will be the last night we talk about alpacas. And then it's done. Potential fraud. Why does it even ring? Just hang up on them. I don't don't need to deal with potential fraud. Yeah, decline call. So we got somebody here who says, on a whim, him and his friends decided to visit an alpaca farm where they cohabitate alpaca and sheep. 2 old ladies showed us how they sheared the alpaca with the personalities are like, and then they put one on a leash and let us walk it around while petting it. It seemed pretty stupid, but holy crap, walking around and petting one of those bastards was amazing. And then there's, these are the funniest creatures alive. Put them in a completely flat field and then dump a single bucket of dirt somewhere. And the dopey little dopey little animals will walk straight over to that tiny mound and take turns playing tallest alpaca in the field. And people are saying that they're a lot like the goats. And somebody else says, compared to goats, alpacas are geniuses. I've gone hunting goats once and saw 3 goats on the other side of the valley, well within range. From the goat's point of view, this happening. Goat 1, this grass is legit. Goat 2, I know, bro. Goat 3, yeah, oh, hey, there's more grass. Boom! I guess he got shot. Goat 1 and 2, oh God, what the hell was that? Jeff fall asleep? What just happened? Never mind. Goat 1, anyway, this grass is legit. Boom! Goat 1, oh God, what the hell was that? Why are both Jeff and Dave asleep? Never mind, this grass is nice. Boom! Who the hell hunts goats? Why are you hunting a goat? Why am I even reading any of this? Because Sister O'Prey. Sister O'Prey said there was some good stuff in here. Something about an alpaca song? I don't know. Why do they fall asleep so nosily? Let's see. Do we see an alpaca song? I'm not seeing any alpaca song. So, well, we will leave it at that. It was a funny picture, and we've got a interesting. Also, there's a change.org petition, which I am not going to follow, but somebody, and I won't say who, made a change.org petition, change Berto Prey 5's YouTube channel name. Petition to reach the following goals. 1. Change Berto Prey 5's YouTube channel name to Alpaca O'Prey 5. 2. Ensure alpacas are always available to Alpaca O'Prey 5. 3. Ensure whenever Alpaca O'Prey 5 is live, there is at least one live alpaca within 5 feet and visible on camera. And 4. All future video features a segment talking about his love for alpacas. Hashtag Alpaca Life. And Jim is counting on me. Sorry, Jim. I will not be signing this petition, although it didn't stop Sister O'Prey from signing the petition. And it came with this video by Jim.
They must take me.
Oh, Mom O'Prey is not so happy about the alpaca possibilities either, just to be clear.
Who's going to clean up the alpaca poop?
Sassy will clean up the alpaca poop.
That's true.
Yeah, embrace us and walk again. Embrace us and walk again. But at least they did have the wherewithal to put visitbertoprey5.com at the end. So, thank you, Jim. But, thank you, but but no thank you. I pass. I pass on changing the name to Alpaca BedLife I. Where are we? Alexander says, if I say F Captain Poophead, is it okay? It's marginally better, but let's try not to say F anybody. Josh Strait says those are new weapons from Karoga. Mark Andy says everyone, camel toe is the line. Oh man. John DeMarco says, how about we be civil to each other? Can't we all just get along? I mean, seriously, people. Can't we all just get along? Why is my video not working? God damn it. Well, I've started. Let's see. Did it go? Okay, now I gotta go to live chat. Yes, it's working. It's finally working. The video on my tablet had been frozen for like 10 minutes. Cinnabon Bunny says, hello, I swear that was the last one. We'll see, Cinnabon. Derek McManus says, hey there, bird, and hey, Mama Pray. Welcome, Derek. Qapla. Tiki of Doom says, potential fraud. Lol, they know it's fraud. Alexander says, we should speak about MCU Aunt May naked instead. Well, Alexander, that's perfectly fine to talk about. Josh Street says, breaking news, Bird of Prey says he's a llama since he ate old corn dogs and will kill you with the first chance he gets. Only to Turdistanis. Derek says, just got an M60 tank in World of Tanks. Very cool. Commander Shutter says, it's a sad day when our society is dictated by a computer algorithm that cannot understand context. If we fail to learn from history, they will repeat. The Nazis were the embodiments of evil. Yes. Although, to be clear, there were lots of evils. And there still are. No one group has a monopoly on evil, unfortunately. Commander says, just because the name is said does not mean that we are glorifying or agreeing with it. Absolutely. But you know what? That's the whole point, is somewhere in the last 10 years, society changed from wanting to remember history to trying to want to erase history, although still wanting to complain about it. But wanting to erase, the Confederate flag, which isn't even the Confederate flag, it's the battle flag of one army. But whatever, the actual Confederate flag, most people don't even know what it looks like. So, most Northerners don't even know what it looks like. Let's leave it at that. So like they want to erase it. They want to take down, statues of Civil War generals, and even there was a New York City Mayor De Blasio, if there's an opposite of Mensa, he's definitely a leading candidate. He decided to create a commission to go over every landmark in New York City, whether it's a little plaque on the sidewalk or a giant statue, and figure out how many of them are racist or could be potentially racist, and have them removed from the city or taken out. I mean, there was, people gave millions of dollars or the equivalents of millions of dollars hundreds of years ago, dozens of years ago, scores of years ago, to the city with the promise the city would maintain these parks and these memorials. And, it could be 100 years later, it could be 50 years later, it could be 20 years later. The city decides, oh, this is racist now because this guy, might have maybe owned a slave or his parents owned a slave. And like, well, now he's done. Everything he did for New York City is null and void because he did something that was legal at the time, however terrible it was. I mean, we've had our presidents own slaves. I'm not saying that anybody should have owned slaves, but it was the law at the time. It was what rich people did at the time. I don't condone it, but I'm not going to erase our history because it happened. That's not fair to the people who were slaves, nor is it fair to the people who are being erased, who were otherwise important people in our history. Commander says it's the same. I read that. John Street says, Derek, how is World of Tanks compared to World of Warships? I think it's a little drier. Resolute Germ says, what type of weird goat stuff is Bird reading? This is stuff Sister of Prey sends. Actor says, Bird of Prey, there are some alpacas like 1,500 kilometers from my house. If you want, I'm going to get one for you, Joe. Thanks, Hector, but if you do, just keep it by your house. I'll try to come visit one day, and I'll see it there. Oh, remind me, tell you guys of the dream Mamo Prey had last night when I get to the end of the comments. Cinnabon is lolling. Josh Street says, lol, Sisso Prey signed your name to it already. Of course she did. Derek says, Josh Street, I'm fairly good at World of Tanks. Can't get my head around World of Warships. It's very random. I'm on the PlayStation. Derek says, or maybe I'm just crap, lol. Maybe I'm just crap? You're not crap, Derek. At worst, you're a turd. Mark Andy says, I have 2 different neighbors that each had a llama to chase off predators. Well, there you go. Protection llamas. Resolute says, I'm confused. Did Bird get involved in an alpaca cult? No, I'm not involved in an alpaca cult. In fact, I'm cutting all ties with the alpacas, except for the sticker. Alexander says it's better to write Captain Anal Bleeding Sex Doll. Good. No, Alexander. It's just better not to call them out at all. Just let them be. If you didn't bring it up, I never would have thought about that guy today. He doesn't come on the stream, and I wouldn't have even remembered about him until I maybe see him in Discord tomorrow. Tiki of Doom says, I'm down to join a cult. Well, Tiki, for just $999, you send it to Bird Prey 5, and I will induct you into a secret cult. Mr. Londell says, Qapla, Mr. Londell's groovy movies. Derek says he's slightly drunk. That's okay, Derek. Actor says, that's an ambitious petition. I'm going to sign it. Agnes says, why slightly are you not feeling good, Derek? And Agnes says, it's not Alpaca Bird O Prey 5, it's Alpaca O Prey 5. Did I say Alpaca Bird O Prey? Derek says, hey, Hector. Alexander says, people paid to create a memorial in New York thousands of years ago. I think I said hundreds of years ago. But, yes. Actor says, okay. Mr. Lundell says, Bird of Prey, yep. That de Blasio fella is a real genius, ain't he? I think someone should do a genealogy thing on them, as many Democrats as possible, just to see how many of them did anything. Yeah.
Did you hear his latest?
No, which de Blasio's latest?
He wants to do away with all gifted classes in the city.
Of course he does. So Mamo Prey is saying that Mayor de Blasio wants to do away with all gifted classes in New York City public schools. Which makes perfect sense, because the Democrats hate meritocracy. They hate people doing better than anyone else, and having a gifted class kind of means that, hey, that means that some students are smarter than others, or at least working harder than others, and we can't have that. If there wasn't a gifted class when I went to school, I would have probably either bit somebody a second time and got thrown out of school, or otherwise left school. I would not have been able to take.
Oh no, if there wasn't a gifted program, we would have left New York.
Oh, Mama.
That's what kept us here.
Mama probably say if there wasn't a gifted program, she would have left New York completely, which I guess that makes more sense. Yeah, I had a really bad second grade until I got into the gifted program. They told my parents that I needed to be tested for special ed. And special ed doesn't mean special. It means not quite up to speed or behavior problems. Which I had because I had idiots in my class trying to copy off me and a stupid teacher who didn't believe me. And spelt cookie COOKYS. What a stupid biatch. And I know Alexander. I said don't use these bad words, but she deserves it. She deserves a lot worse. Mr. Londell says how many of them did anything less than set slaves free? Exactly. Agnes's bird has the Dukes of Hazzard ringtone. Of course, he has a room plastered with that flag. I do not. In fact, I had on my 1986 Jeep Grand Cherokee, which I bought in 1996. Well, Dado Pray and Mamo Pray bought it for me. But I got it in 1996, my first ever car. I had a bumper sticker with the Rebel battle flag on it and a no sign, and it said, "You lost, get over it." Because I personally think it's absurd for Americans to be flying the Confederate battle flag. However, I will fight for people's right to do so. That's the type of person I am. I am for free speech. You're either for free speech or you're not. And free speech means speech you don't like. I think it's stupid. I want people, though, to have the freedom to be stupid. Now, I know if you live in the South, it's a whole big Southern pride thing, and fine. I don't think less of the Dukes of Hazzard because the flag is on the car. It goes with the time period. But in 2019, if you're still flying a Confederate flag, particularly if you live in a northern state, which I always have, that's just pretty dumb, right? I mean, The Simpsons said it, where at least they had to redesign the state flag of whatever state The Simpsons lived in, and she said, well, because it features the Confederate flag, which is embarrassing, particularly because they're in a northern state. So we know The Simpsons are in a northern state. And one day, our most popular thread on JUOT, my forum, well, let's put it, our most popular non-naked or boob-related thread on JUOT is what zip code, where do the Simpsons live? What zip code do the Simpsons live in? Or something like that. And I go through a whole bunch of episodes to try to pinpoint where the Simpsons could possibly live and where they can't possibly live. And we've got a lot of conflicting info, obviously, over the years. So it's not real, but it's a fun little adventure to have. So I think I might turn that into a video now that I think about it, because that wouldn't be a terrible video. Maybe it'll get me some views. Like my 25% video, and I thank so many people who watched my 25% difference explanation video, by the way, which I put out yesterday, which I worked hours and hours and hours on, because, when you're doing that type of stuff, the editing, and Mr. Miles knows this probably better than anyone, every single artifact you use on the screen, every enterprise that floats on by, that takes 10 minutes to set up each one. 5 if you're lucky. If you can copy over from a previous use, you can maybe do it in 5 minutes. But, every single thing, every single one, assuming you get it right on the first time, you're talking hours of work. And that was a 10-minute video. 10.5 minutes without the ending credits. And you're talking 2 to 3 days, 8-hour days of work to get that video ready. Which I don't mind. I just wish, it hurts. There's something that hurts when you put out a video, and I know it hurt Mr. Miles because Anti-Tracker's great video about his 5 favorite TOS episodes, or the one he did after that, which had lots and lots of editing by Mr. Miles. I think it only got a few hundred views, which for Anti-Tracker is pretty low. And it's in no way saying that the video is bad. It's just, does the algorithm catch it, and does it become pushed by the algorithm? And I think one of the videos kind of missed. Nothing he could have done about it. Just didn't get picked up, didn't get lucky, whatever the case. And it's demoralizing when you see it. And then for me, it's demoralizing when, compare that to the number of views to like a live stream of Cities Skylines, where I just play literally for a couple hours, and I'm playing a game. It's generally fun work and not tedious work, and I could get double the views. Although, to be honest, by tonight, I think it was at 150. No, it was at just over 100 views. Was it 150? I don't think it was 150. If it was 150, then it was doing pretty damn good. Let's see. Let's see what it's at. I'm pretty sure it's not. YouTube/Bird Opry 5. Page isn't available. Why would it not be available? Oh, I spelt my own name wrong. Yeah, I put 2 R's. 25. Oh, wow. No, it's at 112 views. So it's not terrible, but it's basically hit a Cities Skyline stream, but it's taken a full day to do so. Hopefully, the next couple of days, we'll see how it goes, if it actually picks up any traction or not. If the typical live stream stops getting new views within 24 hours or so. So we've just passed the 24-hour mark. Uploaded videos, for some reason, tend to get views for longer than that. But the next day will be telling. So we'll see. We'll see if that was... I wouldn't say it was a waste, but it hurts. I'll be honest, it hurts. Let's see. Let's get our comments back up. The multi-gunman says, "Hey Bird, how's it going? My laptop is fixed. Finally, I'm back in action. Very good, Mr. Gunman. Very good, the multi-gunman. I've been seeing your comments. I've been liking them. I've been replying to them on my videos. I'm glad your laptop is working, and glad you are back in action. Agnes is all around his room except when he hangs his special white robe. That was a pillowcase, and it wasn't mine. Multi-gunman says, I came for the BedLife, but I'm staying for the Alpacas. And something else. Agnes says, oh no, N-word. Yeah, Anti-Trigger says, hey Bird, how is new Karoga doing? Anti-Tracker, I think we're just going to go back to calling it Karoga, because it's a new world. We might as well start over with Karoga. It seems to be doing pretty well, although I had a very, very close call with a meteor storm today. Asteroids fell from the sky. Meteors struck all around the base, the landing pad area. Luckily, though, they claimed at least one of them had some uranium on it, so that was nice. I do worry how close they might get to the actual base. Multi-Gunman says, Anti-Trigger, new Karoga is the old Germany. Wow. Actor says, we need to see new Karoga. Well, not anytime soon, I don't think. Because, you know, now we've got to keep our location secret for a while. Alexander says, Bird of Prey, I work hard and I'm a communist. Okay, comrade. That is very good. However, I would say most communists, they don't work hard because they realize, why work hard? They all get the same outcome in the end anyway. Resolute says, of course he did. He gifted people don't. Of course he did. Gifted people don't want to be worthless drones. That's one way of putting it. Derek Organic says, race to the bottom. Yep, that's the path forward. Absolutely. That is what de Blasio wants. Actor says, working for the good of all workers and country at Alexander. Derek says, but Joe, you're special to us. Well, thank you, Derek. I understand what you mean. Derek says, well, we all had that idiot teacher that tried to ruin our life. Yeah. Resolute says, your teacher was worse than a bitch. She was English. I don't think the second grade teacher was English. No. No, she was somebody, from the Midwest somewhere. Alexander says, Hector, yes. And Hector gives a thumbs up. Multi-Gunman says, of course, Bird doesn't have the rebel flag in his house. Oh, my God. I'm not reading that. And all the windows went away. Great. YouTube shut down the computer. I'm kidding. But the windows did. Windows go away because I swiped the mouse pad accidentally and it minimizes on the wow. I can't talk. It's late. It minimizes them all with 2-finger downstroke on Windows 10. I hate it. De Blasio sounds like a dumbass. Indeed, Mike Richards. Derek says, to be fair, the Battle Hymn of the Republic is a rousing tune. Actor says, careful, Multi-Gunman, use that word can get Bird of Prey channel into trouble. Yeah, we want to minimize that word. Not the naked word. No, that naked is fine, surprisingly.
For the moment.
Yeah, for the moment. Commander Shutter says, speaking of statues, there was one of the mass murderer Vladimir Lenin in Seattle, Washington. We should help the good people there rip that out and melt it down. Why would Lenin have a statue in Seattle? I have no idea. Derek says, no, I can't have her play any songs. Actor says, you don't want to hurt Joe, right? Yes, the Multi-Gunman doesn't want to hurt the channel. He won't type it anymore. Thank you, Multi-Gunman. Mr. Lundell says there was as many black people that enjoyed the Dukes of Hazzard as there were white people who enjoyed it. It was just a television show that a lot of people enjoyed when it was on. Well, point of order. Probably weren't as many black people who enjoyed it because certainly at the time and still today, there are just less black people in the country as a whole. However, I would venture to guess as a percentage of people who enjoyed it compared to the percentage of population in the United States, probably about equal. Thomas is Anti-Trigger. How did your project go? My short nap turned into a long one. Anti-Trigger says, did he say he was doing a naked video? I am not doing a naked video. Anti-Trigger says, Thomas just getting going. And Multi-Gunman says, yes, all naked all the time. Wow. Alexander says, Commander Shutter, Lenin was not a racist. He was a hero of the working class. Doesn't say he was a racist. He was just a murderer. Thomas says he did a porn video. It's in Discovery. Multi-Gunman says the Playboy Channel 2. What are you guys talking about? Alexander says Anti-Trigger is just a little bit worse than a pink rabbit costume. Ozzy NF, bringing some sanity to the chat. Says Bird of Prey, how are things? They are good, Ozzy. Thanks for asking. Feeling much better from yesterday. Multi-Gunman says, the next live stream, Cities Skylines with Naked Bird. Well, to be honest, Multi-Gunman, most of my Cities Skylines streams, I'm mostly naked anyway. You guys just can't tell. Actor says, so that JUOT forum was like the Redneck Freedom Zone. Yes, in fact, it still is. Except it's got lots of different forums. So there are forums for, where you can talk. Forums where you can talk without censoring yourself. Although the board does do censoring automatically. But there's forums where basically anything goes. Forums where we keep it safe for work. And forums where we keep it slightly not safe for work. Ozzy says, I thought your last video was good. Thank you, Ozzy. And I got a ton of comments from a bunch of people. I got a new subscriber, which always helps. Everybody who saw it seemed to write that it was a great video, it was a well done video. I got a really long, thought out comment by somebody who just agreed with me. Of course, this morning I cited my evidence for why they were wrong and wrote a large reply back. But it was great. It's the type of back and forth I want to generate, and questions, people I want to have help answer questions of people, just, compared to many other videos I've done, it's just not doing the best, which happens. It happens, you got to figure out. When I was making the video, I was like, who's going to be excited about reading about the 25% difference at this point in time? It's probably not getting anybody new. But I thought there was still reason to make it. And that's a video that, people might potentially still click on a month from now, a year from now. Whereas the live streams, they tend to run their course in a day or two. Derek says, Bird, you are like the mighty Jingles. Don't ever change. We love you the way you are. Well, thank you, Derek. Although, to be honest, I looked at a video I did, a live stream I did back in November or December of last year. And wow, there's been a lot of changes. A lot of changes since then. And I would say, to be honestly, for the most part, they were good changes. But, thank you. I will try not to change. Multi-Gunman.
You can change.
Mama Pray.
Up and do it live stream.
Mama Pray does want me to change. She wants me to be able to stand and stream. Actor says Derek. Oh, okay. Where am I? Actor says Derek is changing now. He says genital pit instead of cockpit. It's genitalia pit, yes. Everybody saying hello to each other. Alexander says, Alpaca, Opre 5. We want Tamora Sulu naked right now. Indeed, Alexander. Tamora Sulu, she's probably a little on the old side right now, but I don't think you'd mind. Josh Straight says, the planet at Karoga. The planet at Karoga is known as City Alpha 6. City Alpha 6 I don't think was a habitable planet. It was City Alpha 5 that was habitable, that got destroyed later on. Well, almost destroyed. Practically destroyed. Multi-Gunman says to Ozzy, welcome. And, okay, not going to read the hellos. Thomas says, welcome back, Thomas, by the way. Says, while I was on Space Engineers, we had 3 meteor showers and pirates attack. Turkestan was victorious. Well, that's good. It would suck if you guys got wiped out by pirates before the game really started. Actor says, not against the meteors. Oh. Derek says, Alexander fights Nazis. He's a weasel sorry hero. Damn autocorrect. Name unavailable. Hello?
Yes. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening. I'm Danica. I'm calling from Solar, USA. Am I speaking with the homeowner?
Yes, you are.
Okay, then you would be pre-qualified to receive solar panels and installations at no cost to you, okay?
I'm not interested.
Now,
can you take me off your list, please?
why is that?
Because I hate the sun.
Yes. Because you hate solar panels?
Yes, they give me cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry that you have cancer.
No, I don't have it because I don't have solar panels. But if I had solar panels, I'm afraid I would get it. So please keep your solar panels. I don't need no cancer-getting solar panels. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Well, bye-bye.
Bye. Every 2 or 3 times a week, somebody else is calling trying to give me solar panels. Not give me, sell me solar panels, because they don't give them away. No matter how much they make you think you want that they're going to give it to you, they're selling them to you. Mama Pray is shaking her head. Mama Pray is shaking her head. So Mama Pray Mama Pray tells me this morning she had a horrible dream. It's like, oh, what happened? She's like, she dreamed that we were all swimming. Okay, that's not a terrible dream. It's like, and then Sassy was swimming with us. And then somebody on a boat, which was a big wooden boat. No?
It was a big wooden boat, but somebody else was swimming.
Oh, somebody else was swimming. Anyway, there was this big wooden boat, like a rowboat, but bigger. And somebody started yelling that Sassy ate 27 people. That there were 27 people on the boat. Sassy got on the boat and ate them all. And Sassy didn't look any bigger than she looks right now. In fact, Mama Pray specifically noted she didn't look bloated at all. And Mama Pray was like, oh no, Sassy. Bad. That's not good. She knew it wasn't good. She wasn't like, oh my God, we got to put Sassy down or something. She was just like, she was confused as to how that could have happened. How did Sassy eat 27 people? And then somebody else came and said, your dog ate 27 people. Oh, poor Sassy. Of course, then Mom O'Pray had me call Sister O'Pray to put that down on the lottery. Of course, I didn't check the lottery numbers. The pick 3. I'm going to check them now. New York State. New York. Yeah. Mom O'Pray said, let's play 827. Because Sassy ate 27 people. New York State Lotto numbers, pick 3. Let's see. What do we have? No, not today. Oh, 843. Pretty close. 843. So, Sassy, if you'd ate 43 people, we would have made a few bucks. But only 27. So, missed it by that much. Oh, and then we had our grocery delivery. And so, Mama Pray usually tips them a $5 bill. So, the truck pulls up in front of the house, and I'm watching on the cameras. So I tell her, okay, Mom, the delivery's here. So she's okay, she's getting ready, and she's like, I can't find the $5 bill. I just had it. And I'm looking, and I see Sassy on the bed/couch in the living room, and Sassy has a little piece of paper in her mouth. And I wasn't even going to say anything. It was like, nah, that can't be it. But I was like, Sassy's got a piece of paper in her mouth. You think that's the $5 bill? And sure enough, it was. Mama Pray had to pull the $5 bill out of Sassy's mouth. It was already ripped at this point, but she had time to tape it back together And so the delivery guy got a slightly wet, drool-infested, ripped... Well, okay, it wasn't drool, but it was a little wet. I mean, so it was drool. A slightly wet $5 bill for a tip. And Alexander with a $2 Canadian super chat says, what about science fiction on Discord? It's so nice. Oh, write about science fiction on Discord is so... Write about science fiction on Discord is so nice. You're going to write about science fiction on Discord? Because you certainly can. I mean, I guess I could write about science fiction, but I'd rather do a video of it. Anyway, so let's keep going. Actor says, what if it's an alpaca shower? Well, if it's an alpaca shower, I'd imagine, as opposed to a meteor shower, I would guess there'd be a lot less uranium and a lot more blood and guts. Derek says, you too, Alexander. This is police space, and we will all respect Joe. This is a polite space, and we will all respect Joe. Thank you, Derek. Resolute says, communists do work hard. The government enforces will beat them otherwise. Alexander says, F. Robin. Batman doesn't need any sidekick. Oh, Anti-Trigger says, why would Seattle have a statue of Lenin? Obviously, you've never been to Seattle. Yeah, that is true. Actress says, John Lennon. No, Vladimir. Ozzy says, bird of prey, I'm coming back to Karoga. Hashtag down with Turtistan. Welcome, Ozzy. I will, or Life with Matthew. Somebody will approve you. We've got I'm back in, Life with Matthew's back in, Admiral Saval is back in, and you and Commander Shutter, if you guys want to, are welcome back. Actresses or Lenin. Actresses, there's a slight difference there, yes. Thomas says Seattle is a drug-infested Karoga territory, so that's why. Well, it's certainly not Karoga territory. Resolute says Lenin is bigger than a god here. I'm surprised it's just the one statue. And Alexander with another $2 Canadian chat says far-right propaganda on Discord is disgusting. Hey, comrade, yes, far-right. You know what? Let's get rid of the far-right propaganda. And wait, do you want to keep the far-left propaganda? You got ski clops. Ski clops me. That is not Kissy Dax. That is the opposite of Kissy Dax. But for some reason, Alexander, I don't think you'll mind. No, not bad, Sassy. Not bad, Sassy. I'll get to that. So Seattle is in Turtistan. I knew it, says the multi-gun man. John DeMarco says, I don't know whether he was a racist or not, but Lenin was certainly no hero to religious people. Absolutely not. He might not have been a racist. I mean, he probably was, but he's probably not known for being a racist. But just because you're not a racist doesn't mean you're a good person. Resolute says, no, multi-gun man, even Turtistan isn't as bad as Seattle. Actor says, come on, guys, only 10 likes. Only 10 likes. Click that button, subscribe, and share if you like the content. Thank you, Hector. Alexander says, John DeMarco, he fought the religious leaders supporting the monarchy. Bolsheviks didn't mind about believers. For them, religion was a private thing. Multi-gun man says, resolute germ, I've never been to Seattle. I've only heard people say bad things about the city. I was planning to go to Seattle. The summer I got sick, we had me, Dad O'Prey, Sister O'Prey, possibly Mom O'Prey. We were all supposed to go on a Alaskan cruise. Dad O'Prey was not big time, but big into playing poker. He had a regular game he'd go to in a yacht club in Brooklyn when he was feeling good, and he watched World Series of Poker on TV all the time. When we would go to Vegas, he would just sit in the poker room for hours on end, and he wanted, it was a World Series of Poker cruise where they were playing some serious poker on the cruise ship. So we got a nice room, and we were getting all ready to go, and I was planning on it, and that was, I don't know, I got sick in May, that we were supposed to sail in August, and so 3 months before I got sick and ended up having to cancel the trip. Thankfully, we were able to get the money back, although to be honest, nobody really gave a shit about the money at that point, because I was just so sick. But yeah, we were able to get the money. Actually, we didn't even send in the money. We had just had the reservation. We were supposed to send in the money like the next week. So, yeah, I was going to see Seattle and Alaska. Never got to either. John DeMarco says, I already made accounts of believers being prosecuted in the Soviet Union. I've read many accounts of believers being prosecuted in the Soviet Union, but just religious leaders. And Alexander says, multi-gunman may be the far right. John DeMarco corrects himself, says not just religious leaders. Will Tyler, welcome Will, says, I support Joe's return to walking and rise to power. Thank you, Will Tyler. Alexander, Will, are you still here, Will? Alexander says, John DeMarco, yes, religious leaders working for the government. Robin Letford? Wow. Okay, we'll just say Robin. Robin says now. Welcome, Robin. Is that the first thing you said? Welcome. Thomas Potts says, I was in Seattle a few weeks ago. Smells like marijuana everywhere. Saw a guy with needles and a woman with a onesie holding on to a railing swinging around. It's a liberal paradise. Multi-Gunman says, long live Karoga, death to Turkestan. Absolutely. Resolute says, it was nice, Multi-Gunman. Now we're like San Francisco light. Doesn't sound light to me. It sounds like you guys are fighting it out. Tiki of Doom says, hello. Hello, Tiki. Commander Shutter says, ha ha ha, I hate scam calls. Well, this probably wasn't a scam, but I just cold calling selling solar panels. Multi-Gunman says, Resolute Germ, okay, I'll avoid Seattle then. And Josh Street says, Bird, you're evil. I'm not evil. I'm just trying to bring some joy to a person's very boring day. You know what? She's probably sitting in a call center in, some other country, and I don't know, she may or may not have a gun to her head, and she just has to make these calls probably 18, 20 hours a day, and she gets like a little cracker to eat, and that's it, and she has nothing to talk about when she gets home to her family, and like, oh, hey Mom, what did you do at work today? And she's like, same thing I do every day. I made a bajillion calls to America trying to sell solar panels, and I only got one person. But now she can say, I had a great day, honey. I called the guy who said that the solar panels give you cancer. And he didn't want them because he was going to get cancer if I could get solar panels. And I thought that was hilarious. It made my whole day worth living. I'm now not a miserable person. I'm going to go into work happy from now on, because maybe I will talk to somebody as cool as that guy again. The chance exists. And they have a much, much better life. All because they talk to me. So that's my inspiration. Not evil. Not evil. Anti-Trigger says, nice. Commander Shutter says they were a Turkestani spy. Probably. John DeMarco says, according to some sources, the total number of Christian victims... Wow, this is going to be a cheery stream. The total number of Christian victims under the Soviet regime has been estimated to be in the range of 12 to 20 million. Derek says, Bird asked if she's wearing blue underwear. Best way to deal with pesky calls. I try not to go down that route. Not unless they really push. Alexander says, Bird of Prey. Solar panels don't give cancer. Prove it. Find me one study that definitively proves solar panels don't give cancer. I'll give you 5 minutes. Miss Lundell says, I gotta remember your way of handling telemarketers when the next one calls me. Multi-Gunman says, hello, Bird. We would like to give you cancer. Scam caller, no thanks. Cancer gives me solar panels. Alexander says, I very much like to speak about science fiction on Discord. When I will have the chance, I would like to have the chance now. Well, nothing's stopping you, Alexander. John the Four Peasant says, was it a crime-solving boat? Night. Night boat. Josh says, lol, Sassy's a killing machine. Mama Praise still saying she can't believe she had that dream. Actor saying, well, Antitrager would say Sassy already looks like she's eaten some humans. John the Fourth President says Sassy will star in the new Jaws reboot. Da-dun, 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 da-dun. And then it's Sassy jumping out at you. I think we're going to need a bigger boat. I think we're going to need a bigger bone. Robin says, just say no to solar panels. Cool, indeed. Actor says, Sassy for Pet Cemetery 3. Multi Man says, Cujo Part 2, starring Sassy. Robin says, it's easy to make your own. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, dud. John, the former peasant, says, dream analysis with Dr. Bird, indeed. Josh Street says, Sassy wants to get money. Actor says, well, Bird of Prey is definitely not a rocket scientist. I'm not that far. And Robin is lolling right. Actor says, as Kerbal Space Program proves. It's a game, okay? It's a game. If I was really building a rocket, I would have made different changes. Robin says, up the creek without a paddle, huh? Bad, Sassy, bad. No. Good, Sassy. Good, Sassy. Sassy's going to hopefully meet Camille on Thursday, who will hopefully be able to come by after a doctor's appointment. She is still doing well, for those who ask. I spoke to her yesterday. She is still recovering from her operation, but doing well, and I know Sassy misses her, and we all miss her. But Sassy doesn't understand why Camille hasn't been here, so it'll be nice for Sassy to see Camille on Thursday. Which means that I don't know when the Thursday stream will be. And if it is normal time, there's a chance I will end it early if Camille shows up. Mr. Lundell's Groovy Movie says, if you're looking for a history of science fiction, both literature, film, television, check out the Mr. Sci-Fi channel on YouTube. Okay, Mr. Lundell, very cool. John DeMarco says, that's the thing about free speech. Sometimes we consider it disgusting, but it shouldn't be forbidden. No. And indeed, the most disgusting, horrible, despicable speech is the ones that need the greatest protection. By definition, popular speech does not need any protection. Popular speech is already popular. It's the speech that nobody else wants to really talk about that needs the protection. So I am totally one who would say something I don't necessarily believe just to exercise the right of free speech, because it is that important that we keep that right. And it's being encroached upon tremendously in the last few years. I mean, you know, in the United States, we still have free speech for the most part. But it is already ridiculous that in the UK, the place that 10 years ago, I would say, well, if I ever had to leave the United States, I'd want to move to the UK. No, not anymore, okay? The UK has literally made speech illegal. That if you say on Twitter, hey, that guy, and I'm not saying it's nice, but it shouldn't be illegal to say, hey, you know, my neighbor wears a funny towel on his head, and it turns out that your neighbor is Muslim. Yeah, that's a mean thing to say, but you shouldn't be able to get arrested for saying that. But in the UK, you can literally get arrested for saying, my neighbor wears a funny towel on his head, if your neighbor's Muslim. Now, if your neighbor is not Muslim, but he actually wears a funny towel on his head for just because he's crazy, apparently that's okay to say. But if he's Muslim, that's it. You're literally getting arrested for that in the UK today. And that is crazy. I mean, if free speech falls in the UK, it is not far from, it is at our door. It is really close. We need to exercise it now more than ever. Josh says if Bird does get rid of the far-right propaganda, you're going to have to get rid of Karoga propaganda. Robin says 8:43, and some of them might have been expecting. She was pregnant with quintuplets. Commander Shutter says, I grew up in Linwood, 15 minutes north of Seattle, and man has it become a total dump. We avoid going down there as much as we can. It used to be the Emerald City. Now it's just a moldy turf. Oh man, that's so sad to hear about Seattle. Robin says, tell that to the teacher. Tell that to the teacher about your homework. You will be in the principal's office. Thomas says, now from a distance the Seattle skyline is nice. And Robin says, turf's landfill. Thomas says, so the call center is in Karoga. It's not in Karoga. Resolute says, really, Commander, I grew up in Auburn. Chris M. Collecting says, wow, nicer working conditions than Karoga. Why does everybody hate Karoga? Thomas says, Alexander, both the far right and far left propaganda is disgusting. Robin says, what about Robin Hood? He might. Okay, I missed that one. Alexander says, when it's about the Soviet Union, people like big numbers. This is magic. You say a big number and everybody believes it. Commander Shutter says, so do we have to uninstall the solar panels off our ships? My suit doesn't protect against the cancer. No, Commander Shutter. See, it's just a game, so you can't get cancer from having solar panels in the game. You only get cancer from having solar panels in real life. That's my opinion. Obviously, I can't produce the scientific evidence to prove it because, the government prevents people from researching. John DeMarcos estimates the total number of all Christian martyrs in the former Soviet Union are about 12 million. James M. Nelson is somebody very different. Psychology, Religion, and Spirituality, Springer, 2009, page 427. Wow. We're getting technical today. Mr. Lundell says, I think we're going to need a bigger bag of Alpo. Alexander says, John DeMarco, a book is not forcefully right. John DeMarco says, you say that about any book you disagree with. Evidence is evidence. Chief Cook says, hi. Welcome, Chief Cook. Qapla. Alexander says, John DeMarco, there was not an extermination based on religion in the Soviet Union. Stalinist regimes killed opposition, but the religion was not the reason. The reason was because they were opposition. John DeMarco says, then why do communist governments always try to stamp out religion? And Robin says, hiya, Chief. Resolute says, that doesn't make it any better, Alexander. Alexander says, John DeMarco, revolutionary governments will fight religious leaders trying to bring back the monarchy. And Robin says, because they are smart, John. Wow. Commander Cook says, you can move to Canada. No. No, Canada, I don't know where I would move, honestly. After the UK, my backups were like Australia and New Zealand, but they're no better now. They're all, I would have to move to that, independent oil rig out in the middle of the Atlantic called Sealand, where there is no laws. That's where I'd have to move, because I can't deal with it. You see, this has been a theory of mine for hundreds and hundreds of years. There has always been a place for the people who didn't want to quite follow the rules of society, who didn't want to fit in, right? I mean, going back to, let's start with Europe. You could always move further out, further away from the castles and the centers of towns. You could go into the frontier land and build your own house and, for the most part, be left alone once you paid your taxes and whatnot. If you had to give up your oldest kid, to go fight for the lord of the land or whatever, he did. It wasn't a big deal. But they mostly left you alone. And then, when Europe got to be too crowded, they're like, hey, let's get in a boat and just keep sailing till we hit some other land. And then, for another few hundred years, they got to the United States, and the people who didn't want to deal with the shit of government and stuff, they got to the United States. So then they set up their own government, and then the people in the United States are like, well, I don't want to deal with this shit. That's why we left Europe. So they moved west, and they kept moving west all along the way, setting up their own smaller governments because they didn't want to deal with big government. And then they got all the way to the west coast, and they kind of filled in the interior. And then, before you know it, the whole country is now ruled by a federal government that even in the depths of Alaska is trying to force the same rules that they apply to, populated states like New York and New Jersey, and they're trying to make consistent rules across the entire nation. And even in Alaska, the final frontier of Alaska, you can't even, live. You've got to live by federal law, which means you can't shoot a frickin' polar bear if it's coming out to kill you. You got to have permits and shit, and it's like all bullshit. And for the first time in history, there's nowhere to move if you don't want to deal with all the bullshit that is federal government and society. If you just want to be on your own and live in your own house that you build yourself, or you build it out of freaking cargo containers, whatever. You just don't want anybody to bother you. Just give me some land and let me grow my own food and hunt for food, and just don't bother me. There was always a place to go until the last 50 years. Now there's nowhere left to go on the entire world that you can go and just be left the F alone. And that, I think, is the reason that we have a violent and mental health problem today. Most of these people, I think, that have become, the worst killers and terrorists, these are people who would have just left. They would have gone somewhere and just said, screw you, leave me alone, don't come here and I'll be fine. And there's plenty of land for everybody. But no, now in 2019, and it's been this way for quite a while, there's nowhere left on the planet that you can go to escape, laws, conventions, UN, federal law, whatever it is. There's nowhere you can just be left alone and people just let you be. Everybody wants to say, oh, you've got to build your house out of this, or oh, you've got to get a permit before you shoot an animal, or oh, you've got to put your garbage in a frickin' this particular basin, and we've got to collect it. You can't burn it in the middle of a forest because reasons. And it's bullshit, and there's no place for those people to go anymore. Throughout all human history, those were the people that expanded civilization, that explored the globe. And now there's no place left for them to go. There's space, but did 10, 15 people go to space in any given year? And even if we got commercial space flight, you can't just go to the moon and build your own house. We're centuries away from ever being able to do that. So we've got nowhere for all these people to go, and it's bred into us. It's in the DNA of so many people to not deal with the bullshit. They just want to get away from the bullshit. And there's nowhere. Even you get a house and somebody's like, oh, well, now you're in a homeowners association, and some other idiot down the block is going to say, well, you can't have a friggin' mailbox that's painted gray because all the mailboxes need to be painted blue or some bullshit. And you're just like, and I'm not surprised that they go out and start killing people, because just leave them the F alone. That's what we need. We need a state. We need to designate a state, like a big state, if it's like Texas or Nevada or California. I mean, I know California is going to have all the coast, but you could do everything east of the Rockies, between the Rockies and the Mississippi, or we could just do Nevada and Utah, something like that. But a couple of states or one big state where we say, you know what? If you don't want to be bound by law and rules, move there. And we won't bother you, and you don't bother us. You don't come out, we won't go in. You deal with your problems on your own. Everybody's happy, fine. But we don't have that state. We don't have any place to do that. We don't have any place where we just can move to not put up with the bullshit and just deal about actual issues. You know, and I'm saying I'm not one who could live like that. I would have wished I could, but obviously I'm not one who could do that. But there are people who want to do that, and we have no place for them, and they're getting, they have a very hard time adjusting to society. And it's completely natural to want to get away from everybody. It's good. Of course, that is the complete opposite of what the powers that be, whatever you want to call it, the deep state or just current powers, whether Republican or Democrat, nobody wants to give anybody that freedom anymore. Ultimate real freedom. Okay? Even if you think you own something, you don't. Right? Nobody owns their land in the United States. We rent it from the government, and we're paying rent in the form of taxes, property taxes, on every piece of land we quote unquote own. It's bullshit. There's no property. We don't own property, which sucks. If you stop paying your rent, you're going to get evicted. The government calls it a tax, but it's rent. It's just rent. And for what? Government own it? No, government doesn't own it, though they're going to claim they do. So now I'm sure I'm way behind. Mystique LeBeau says, so I'm sensing Bird was cheering for Thanos' snap. I took that out of order. I'll get to him. I don't know I was cheering, but I understood. Thomas says Corrogans wear dunce hats. Miss Lundell says the UK has definitely gone to hell in a handbasket. Just look at the mayor of London. Thomas is saying, Kurdistan is a free nation. Our beloved leader doesn't tell us what we can or cannot build. I don't tell people what they can or cannot build in Karoga. In fact, people are free to just come to Karoga and be on their own. Just find a place and I won't bother you and you don't have to bother me, and we can all live happy under the banner of Karoga. Robin says knee deep. Okay. Alexander says, Mr. Liddell, the mayor is Muslim. What's the problem? I don't know who the mayor of London is. John DeMarco says it was not the religious leaders. Any people of faith were a target. There were plenty of believers who couldn't care less about the monarchy. Miss Lundell says, Alexander, his religion has nothing to do with him being a total idiot. Robin says, hell yeah, Joe, go. Robin says, yes, she wants it now. Thomas, the security guard work grandfather, was killed by the Soviets over his Christian beliefs. Security guard at work's grandfather was killed by the Soviets over his Christian beliefs. And the trigger says, be very careful. YouTube will in fact remove accounts for denying things like the Holocaust. Well, I'm certainly not denying the Holocaust. Robin says, Joe's going to up the chats. Joe's going up the chats chat. Chief Cook says, move to Mexico. Robin says, who is she? What are we talking about? Alexander says, John DeMarco, if you want to believe in that poop, that's your choice. But I lived in Russia for 7 years, and I studied Soviet history for 15 years. What you say doesn't match with the facts. Resolute says we'll all move to Texas after the left screws up this country. Josh reads his breaking news. Bird will move to a lawless oil rig to get away from laws. Sealand has excellent internet communication. That's all I really need. Alexander says anti-trigger. Nobody denies the Holocaust here. That's true, best I can tell. And if you do, I don't care. Don't tell me you do, because there's no point in arguing it. Actor says there are lawless oil rigs. Well, as close as lawless as you can get. Chief Cook says move to Florida. Commander Shutters is resolute. I have since moved to Kennewick. It is much better over here. John DeMarco says I've studied plenty of history as well, including of the Soviet Union. I've read whole books describing the history of religion in Russia. It sounds like you guys have you guys are not going to agree on the set of facts, which is fine, but I think you guys should probably just acknowledge that you guys believe different things and move on. Thomas says, anti-tracker, it's already against YouTube rules to spread propaganda, but Bird of Prey does it all the time about Karoga. John Street says, Hector, it's called Sealand. Yes. Hector says, oh, the country, right. Chief Cook says, come to Tennessee. Alexander says, Bird of Prey, your story about polar bears is rambling. That's fine. Mr. Lindell says, resolute as a Texan, let me give you all the non-Texans as a bit of advice. Stay where you are and fight for what you know is right. Don't just move somewhere else. Anti-Trigger says, true, Thomas, but Google does not care about Karogan crap because they know nobody takes it seriously. However, talk about the slaughter of Christians in the USSR is dangerous. Chief Cook says, North Pole. For example, The Russian Secret by Peter. By Peter Hoover? Oh, a book. Thomas is lonely and anti-tracker. John DeMarcos is sorry if I'm causing problems by bringing it up. Alexander says, anti-trackers speak about the slaughter of Christians in the Soviet Union is not understand the history of the Soviet Union. Thomas says, send Bird of Prey to North Sentinel Island. I hear the natives there have a big dinner when visitors stop by. North Sentinel Island is, of course, one of the very few islands that's off the coast of India that has not made great contact. Well, outsiders are clearly not welcome. The only people known to ever land on the island were shipwrecked, and they were killed almost immediately by natives. And even when helicopters would fly over the island to see if anybody was still alive, they would throw spears at the helicopters. And the people on the island have used the metal from shipwrecks to make more powerful weapons. They didn't have metal. They were a pre-Stone Age society, or perhaps a Stone Age society, that were living on this island right up until the late 20th century. And only when some modern shipwrecks wrecked on the island and metal washed ashore did they finally start to use metal in their arrow tips and their spear tips. Before that, it was stone. And nobody knows. Nobody's had any real contact with them. And experts think that they can't, because it's very likely that the island, since it's an isolated population, has zero immunity to modern diseases. And anybody who went there, if you went there by accident or not, they'll kill you, so you'll probably just die. But if for some reason they didn't kill you, and they actually let you into the island, more than likely, supposedly, you're probably carrying some virus in you that's not harmful to you because you've developed immunity, but these people have zero immunity to it. So even if scientists wanted to go, they can't, because they would likely just kill the population of the island, decimate it. Well, more than decimate it, since we all learned from anti-tracker, decimate means killing 1/10. Now, this would probably kill 75 to 80% of the population if a modern human visited the island for any period of time. They would all get sick and die. Anti-Trigger says, Alexander, I am not commenting on the subject because I will not put my channel at risk. And Alexander says, John DeMarco, Hoover is a charlatan. Chief Cook says, move to the North Pole. And Multi-Gunman says, get away from the bullshit, a.k.a. the leftist morons. Resolute Germ says, that's a much nicer part of the state, Commander Shedder. It gets much worse in King County. I just may move out there too. Chief Cook says, not California, Tennessee. And Isaiah says, anti-tracker. This is an other myth. Google doesn't close channels because we speak about facts under Soviet Union. Yeah. And then this is where Mystique said she was sensing Bird was cheering for Thanos' snap. Thomas says, no laws. Sounds like Mexico and Venezuela. Except, you also don't want any other people. Multigoman says, Venezuela, another leftist paradise. And Robin says, Udo. Multigunman says, Alexander, you need to read YouTube's terms of service. Chief Cook says, Alaska, you can buy land. You can buy some land, but you're still under federal law. And the one national preserve, which was actually far away from everything, you're not allowed to buy land unless you already own the land in there. And if you already own the land, you can't sell it. You got to either give it back to the government or you can pass it down to a child. But if you don't pass it down to a child, then the government takes it when you die. Thomas says, Turkestan is a free nation. Our beloved leader doesn't tell us what we can and cannot build. Like I said, Kuroga, I don't tell people what they can build or what they have to do. Ms. Lundell says, newsflash, Ernie Hudson is back for the new Ghostbusters movie. Very cool. Resolute says, the next great bastion of freedom is Mars. Well, I really just don't think so, because, you know, the bastion of freedom on Earth, you just had to pack up your horse and wagon and ride west, or get in a boat and ride west, and you could pretty much, you know, build what you needed from the stuff that was there when you got there. You can't do that on Mars. There's going to be so many rules on just getting to Mars. It's never going to be like that. It's likely never going to be like that again unless we actively set aside a place to make it like that. Thomas says, I see Bird of Prey is Thanos. Alexander says, anti-tracker, negation of the Holocaust will get you in trouble with negationism of Holocaust. Soviet history doesn't match that category. And Robin says, pig Latin. Noon? I don't know. John DeMarco says, I personally corresponded with Peter Hoover. He is not a charlatan. And the trick says, Alexander, terms specifically say if you deny historical events, you can be removed. You may have your opinion on the USSR, but I would not talk about denying history. And, okay, Multi-Gunman says, I deny the existence of Turkestan. Anti-Trigger says, Bird, the Holocaust was just an example. Denying the actions of the USSR is the same thing as far as the terms of service, except you are forgetting that YouTube probably doesn't mind the Soviet Union. Alexander says, John DeMarco, he is a charlatan. I don't care. You know, I'm not reading about this guy anymore. Robin says, it's all crooked, y'all, like cuckoo clock on a crooked wall. Multi-Gunman says, are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see. Wow, Mystique is lolling. Robin says, East Tennessee. Multi-Gunman is smiling. John DeMarco says, well, I'm sure you would consider me a religious extremist as well. And Robin says, shoot, bang, bang. Josh Reed says, Bird of Prey. When is the space colonies of the Mobile Suit Gundam O'Neill Island 3 type colony cylinders going? What? When is the space colonies of Mobile Suit Gundam, the O'Neill Island 3 type colony cylinders going? I lost you, Josh Street. Is that the Stargate reference? Multi-Gunman says, nowadays, if you're not far left, you're considered right extremist. John DeMarco says, that's what I figured. I just ripped a piece of skin off. Robin says, Batman's sidekick. Multigunman says, John DeMarco, yeah, you have to plug your nose when talking about leftists. Thomas Potts says, they flew over North Sentinel Island after tsunami, and the helicopter was shot down with arrows, so I figured most survived the 2004 tsunami. And Robin is again saying, Uno. And she said Pig Latin. What the hell would Uno be in Pig Latin? No. No. Now? I don't get it. I'm sorry, Robin. I'm not getting it. Mr. Londell says North Sentinel Island. I have to do some research on that. It's a really cool place. Alexander says, John DeMarco, if you believe in this poop, you'll become a religious extremist. His conspiracy theories have that goal. Robin says, good thinking, Thomas. I'm still not getting it. Robin Ledford Doss? Oh, Doss. D-O-S. Okay, I'm lost. Resolute says there's no more west to go, bird. Mars is the only option. Anti-Trigger says, well, I'm out of here. Have a good one all. Take care, Anti-Trigger. Robin says 50 pounds dog food, 50 pounds of dog poop. It's mostly true, I would guess. Multigunman says, good night, Anti-Trigger. Alexander says, Anti-Trigger, did you stream yesterday? He did stream yesterday. Yesterday was a night stream, and today was a morning stream for Anti-Trigger. And tomorrow is going to be a late, well, morning. It turned out to be an afternoon stream. Tomorrow he'll probably either stream very early or very late. Not late at night, but late from his normal 11 a.m. Eastern time. Robin says SOS. Resolute says good night to Anti-Trigger. Alexander says Anti-Trigger today. Thomas says he streamed this morning, Alexander. Robin says it's an island. Josh Street says Bird of Prey, the O'Neill cylinder. Okay, let's see. Let's see the O'Neill cylinder. It is a sentient settlement concept proposed by American physicist Gerard O'Neill in 1976. The High Frontier. Human colonies in space. Yeah, that's never going to happen. I'm sorry. That just is not going to... Not in our lifetimes, or your kids' lifetimes, or their kids' lifetimes. That's... I just see the pictures of that. It's just simply not possible. Not as of yet. Probably just be easier to make it to another planet than ever build something like that. Alexander says, okay. Multigunman says, I'm addicted to the hokey pokey, but I turned myself around. Robin says, Pioneer. SOS, Pioneer. Uno, I don't know what's going on there. Vile Mike says, howdy folks, welcome Vile. By the way, everybody, if you haven't seen it yesterday or Sunday, Vile Mike put out a video, a hilarious video, reviewing the TOS episode, The Naked Time, with his daughter and the special guest star. I won't say who, but there was this great special guest star that made the video really cool. So it was actually a very good video with or without the special guest. But with the special guest it was even better. So you guys should really check out Vile Mike's channel. It's a great video. And this is the second in his TOS episode reviews with his kid, the quote-unquote vile child. And although, I don't know, I don't think they're a child. They sound more like a teenager. But it's a good perspective on TOS episode, so you guys should check it out. Resolute says, these island people sound fascinating. I'd love to get one to study. Resolute. Kama says, confused, Alpaca 5. Robin says, Jekyll's Islands. Jekyll's Islands. Like Heckle and Jekyll? Vile says, thanks again for the plug, Bird. Yes, very scientifically literate guest star. Agnes says, come on, special guest star was a minor cameo. I made the whole video, okay, Hector? The video would have, I was the glue that held the video together. There was another, what was the other dream? Didn't you have two? Oh no, it was that wasn't the dream, it was the $5 bill.
Yeah.
It was a $5 bill, okay. Robin says run, Forrest, run, indeed. Well, guys, I was ready to fall asleep before I started the stream. I know it's not the longest stream, and there's been a lot of back and forth about USSR history. I'm not going to get into it. But I think that's going to be it for today. I do thank you guys so much for coming here. Please do remember, if you're new, to like, to comment, to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please, if you can, share it with friends. You know, we got live videos. Tomorrow will be a Deep Space Nine review about the normal time, around 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do another Deep Space Nine. I'm not sure which episode it is, but whatever the next one is, we'll do. And then Thursday might probably be a Cities Skylines, since I bumped the Cities Skylines from today. And then we should be back on track again. So guys, take care all. Yeah, Vile, you can rewatch it later. I appreciate it. Thomas is, speaking of reviews, is Rambling Canuck made an Enterprise one recently? Not that I know of. Vile says, actually the 4th review episode. And yes, Vile Child is 15. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, well then I have to watch the first two, Vile. I still got to go back. Take care all. Qapla. Good night. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. Check out BirdoPrey5.com, the new home of everything Birdo Prey 5 on the web. You can also check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. If you'd like to make a donation, check out paypal.me/BirdoPrey5 or on BirdoPrey5.com. Take care.